Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Rays Rewind with El Bushman and Drew.
Jansen. That is into center field. Here comes Kiermaier. Phillips has tied the game. Arose Arena coming around. Throw home. Now he stumbles. But the ball gets away. Tampa Bay wins it. Brett Phillips, Game 4 hero.
The sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome everybody back into the Rays Rewind podcast, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. I'm the great El Bushman. Joining me as usual is Drew. You can join us on YouTube at our YouTube page at the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind. Make sure to like and subscribe and get that notification bell when new episodes drop. And our Instagram page at Rays Rewind Podcast. We got a big show. Big show today. The big guests keep rolling in, and we've got a big one for you guys. It's a special episode of the Rays Rewind podcast. I'm not going to waste any more time. Rays fans, joining us now is a dog, a guy who has traveled the baseball world from the big leagues to pitching internationally. He has built a reputation as a competitor who every time he steps on the mound, he competes like his rent is due tomorrow. A big league veteran, a certified strikeout throwing machine, a veteran bucket of grit and veins full of ice. We're excited to welcome to the show the one, the only, Nick Martinez. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Good day. Thanks for the intro. That was pretty good. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem. I have to do that for all our special guests coming on.
He spends a lot of time on them.
I do.
The compliments, he appreciates them.
Yeah, I might hire him as a hype man. You really available Monday?
Hey, let me know. I'll come down there.
Fine time.
Yeah. If Ryan Bass gives me the mic, I'll do the intro for you. So
All right.
Just let me know. So welcome on to the show, man. We appreciate it. I want to get into this. You guys had a great fishing trip the other day with the boys on a nice little off day. How was that?
That was awesome. Honestly, it was my first time inshore fishing. So I grew up in Miami. We did a lot of offshore stuff, spear fishing, mostly growing up. So that was my first time on the flats, and we did it. I guess we hit the Grand Slam or caught the Grand Slam. We caught a bunch of trout, snook, redfish, and we finished with a tarpon. So. Nice. That's doing it. We had a good day. Yeah,
it's a great time of the year to do some fishing. So glad that you guys went out there and did that. So, Nick, you've had one of the most unique journeys in baseball. What drew you to sign with the Rays, and what it's like, been so far with the team so far for 2026?
Well, off the bat, it's been great, right? Like I said, I'm from Miami, so being in Florida, I got kids now, so they come in that are in school, so they come up, pretty frequently. Whereas, when I'm out of town playing for another team, I got to wait for the summer to see them, more often. But Tampa Bay's been on my wish list since I got to the big leagues, right? Being from Florida, I made my debut here, which is special. The Trop, very nostalgic for me to be pitching here. Obviously, a memorable day whenever you get to call to the big leagues. But other than that, just it's always been on my list just because it's not quite Miami. It's close enough to where I can see my family, but I won't be bombarded every night with tickets. So I've always wanted to play for this team. I love being by the water. This organization has a knack for always being in it, right? They usually have a lot of homegrown young talent that are really good. Obviously, we got Junior and Aranda, we got Yandy Diaz that who they traded for. We got some staples that are really fun to watch, and then they're really good at bringing in some veterans and honing in on what they do best and communicating that. And you see a lot of guys come in here having great years, and so wanting to work with Cash and with Snyder's as so always been on the list, and I'm able to do that now.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Kyle Snyder because we hear a lot about him. Obviously, the Rays pitching success. You can't talk too much about it without talking about Kyle Snyder. And we hear a lot about the guys that have been in the organization kind of come up through the organization, and guys like Shane McClanahan especially talk about him. Drew Rasmussen's been here for several years now. Mm-hmm. What's it been like working with Kyle Snyder, especially kind of being the new guy? And what's been that experience like? And is the hype real? Because we hear nothing but great things, man.
Yeah. So, he is, if anything, an elite communicator, right? He is, as players, we want direction. We know we can accomplish the objective. We've spent our whole lives trying to get to the big leagues. For most of our lives, our objective is get to the big leagues. So we work towards getting there. So whether it's okay, then you get drafted, and it's what do I have to do, and as if along the way you have those objectives, if they're clear, if the teams are communicating to you, you have the capability of achieving that. And he's if not the best. He's the guy that's, I mean, he's an elite communicator. He gives you an objective. He tells you, hey, this is going to work. This is, either stick with the process, or here's the adjustment you need to make. Before I got here, I had a teammate, Emilio Pagan, when he would describe, he loves the Rays organization, loves Kyle Snyder, and he'd always talk about this organization being one of his favorites. When he first got here, and he always talked about when Snyder talked to you, he gave you the answers to the test, and it really feels like that. It's like, all right, he's giving me great feedback, great communications, great scouting report, great adjustment notes, and you're just like, all right, I know I have the physical ability to do that. Let me just go do it, and it just simplifies everything for you, and you're out there just competing, playing ball.
So when he's on the mound, like, so when he trots out there, I always appreciate him trotting to the mound, because some of these pitching coaches, man, it's the slowest walk.
Yeah, he doesn't. He is efficient. He does not like to waste.
He just gets out there. He's got that. Was he like 6'7"? The long stride.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Kind of trots out there. But I'm curious, like, when he comes out to the mound, you mentioned he's an elite communicator. So is it more of, hey, let's do this pitch sequence right here. Let's be specific about what pitches we're throwing.
Yeah.
Or is it just like more of, hey, throw the ball down the plate, throw the ball down the middle? And
I think it's just whatever the situation calls, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the situation calls, he's going to tell you, hey, we need to do this. Hey, sometimes it's sequencing, sometimes it's situational, sometimes it's maybe you're falling behind. Let's say you kind of lost some feel and you're falling behind some guys on base. He may, hey man, we got to attack the zone right here, or you may come up with a sequence. So I mean, it's really good communication.
Nick, when we heard about you getting signed with the Rays, we heard a lot about you being like a great clubhouse guy. When you're coming on to a new team, what's your mindset going into the clubhouse with a group of guys you've really never met before, a new culture, a new team? What's your mindset going in about, like, hey, maybe I should go help out with the culture here and going forward?
Yeah, I mean, so right away, I'm a sucker for the hang. So if the boys are hanging, I want to be a part of it. So, obviously, joining a new team, if guys like to play golf, grab a beer, I always want to do that, get to know my teammates. And then on the field, I want to let them know that I'm going to compete my ass off and win a ball game. I'm going to show that through my work ethic, and the way I play. I think those are the two most important things in a player, really, right? Like, you don't see many, it rarely happens that when guys retire, if it happens at all, right, they don't really talk about like your stats or what season you had, or they rarely go into the stats. They talk about two things, what kind of competitor he was and what kind of teammate he was. And so I try to live it, to the fullest of those two, and be there for the guys, and be ready to raise my face off when I'm on the mound.
What's it been like? Well, first of all, so then what with the Rays this year? What's the sense with the clubhouse? You probably obviously wouldn't know this, but last couple of years there's been a lot of turnover, and so the clubhouse chemistry has been a topic of conversation amongst the team, really, and of course amongst the fan base. That I know you guys are playing good ball right now, but what's the clubhouse chemistry like? How's the team bonding? And
awesome,
it's great. You guys having a good time being together?
We have a great time being together. On and off the field, we get to the clubhouse, we're playing cards, we're rooting for each other, and it's showing on the field, right? We're playing for each other. Everyone's taking selfless at bats, or from the pitching side, they're coming to big situations, and everyone's rooting for that guy. Everyone's rooting for each other, and all that. I believe it starts in the clubhouse and off the field. And the more we get together, the more we hang out, the more you're going to invest in that guy. Nobody wants to see anyone fail, especially on your team. And so I think the more time you spend with each other, the less you want to see them fail. You're really rooting for them. And so that's the way we're playing right now. We have a great team chemistry, and we're playing cards together. We're going out to dinner. We're going to be at the Lightning game tomorrow. So
nice.
we're doing stuff together, and it translates onto the field.
Hopefully you guys can bring him some luck because whenever the Bucks players go there, they lose. So hopefully the Rays going there brings them a game.
We got a lot of hockey guys. We got a lot of hockey guys. Junior's pumped. He's got a jersey. He's ready to rock and roll. So we're going to have a good time.
That's Nick, awesome. I want to ask you, there was a lot of chatter in the offseason, especially in the spring. The Facebook GMs, the Twitter X GMs too. Like, I know you kind of had a rough spring and there's a lot of people, oh, this is we're signing the Rays could have ever done. How locked in are you right now compared to spring? I'm sure you were trying stuff out, just getting ramped up. Like, how locked in were you? Compared to now.
Brutal. Yeah, that was a brutal spring training. It was not fun, but again, I was trying stuff. Bottom line, Ned, I was trying stuff, really trying to absorb as much as I can, and so my focus was probably a little too broad. Mm-hmm. And then obviously when the season starts, these games matter for us, right? So you have to flip that switch into competitive mindset, and so I've been able to hold on to that.
See, everyone, he was trying stuff out. Trying stuff out.
But don't worry, I did not have my first Florida spring training too. I've always wanted to have a Florida spring training. And halfway through, I was like, "This sucks, dude. I stink right now." No, it's all right. It's part of it. Not the spring you want, but again, it is spring training, and I know what I'm capable of doing. I know what my abilities are, and I know that I'm going to compete, and so that's when it really matters. So, I was able to flip that switch.
I'm always intrigued by the mentality of major league players. Like we've had guys like Kevin Kiermaier on a few times actually in the last few months and be able to kind of talk to him about this. But as fans, I think we're a lot of fans like us live and die with each. It's like every game. It's hard to see the kind of the forest through the trees, right? It's and so when I watched you in that final spring training start against the Blue Jays. Because I was like, I was working from home. I was like, I got a chance finally to watch Nick pitch. It didn't go well. It was not a good start at all, right? Like we can just say that and be honest about it.
Yeah.
In my mind, as just a normal person, I'm like, man, how is he going to come in? He's pitching opening, first game in Milwaukee. Like, how is he going to come in, and flip that switch? For me, it feels like it's got to be so hard to do as a major league player, especially a veteran. Yeah. Is that something you just learn over time, that it's just, hey, you can just kind of flush it, and it is what it is. Obviously the games don't count in spring, but you're just so good.
Still want to do well, right?
Of course, but you're not letting that slide over into the next game.
Yeah,
is that just something you learn over time, or is that just
I think just with experience, right?
Yeah,
just with experience. The more experience you have, the more success you have in meaningful games. You have that in the bag, right? That's the club you can use. So it was I think understanding also, and as you mature in this game, knowing that these outings, honestly, even in the regular season, they don't define who you are. If I go back to how I compete and how I work, guys saw, it's not like anyone treated me any different in the clubhouse in spring training or anything, or like, man, this guy's stinks or whatever. I was working my ass off and getting ready for the next one, preparing for the next one, just like I would during the season. They just in spring didn't go my way. I think just understanding that, belief in myself that, hey, I do have success. Like I have had success in the big leagues, and in the playoffs, and I've pitched on big stages. I know I'm capable of doing that. And so it's just about going out there and competing, and then just having the awareness of what adjustments I need to make and make those adjustments. Again, being that's a great thing about being here. It's you're going to get valuable information to make those adjustments, and what that does to our confidence is, even if I pitch bad, I know they're gonna be there for me to help me make that adjustment, and so that going into that outing, even it's like, all right, I'm gonna be aggressive. I'm gonna challenge guys. I'm gonna compete my ass off, and then we're gonna go from there. And whatever adjustments I need to make, I know I'm gonna get valuable information to make those adjustments.
That's awesome. Is that the same mentality you have even coming off of strong starts? Like you've had 2 great starts in a row, looked fantastic. Congrats, by the way. It's been awesome to watch. Is that still you got to take almost that same mentality of all right, that's in the past, clean slate moving forward?
Yeah.
Is it the same thing?
Yeah, there's no
even on the
correlation, right?
positive?
I mentioned it in spring training a little bit. There's no correlation between outings, right? Like obviously you want to stack up some good ones and you want to try to shorten the bad times, right? But if you have an understanding that there's no real correlation, then you don't think about the if there's no correlation, I'm not gonna try to compound the bad ones. Then I gotta have that same mentality for the good ones and just gotta keep working.
Nick, I gotta ask you, that start
yeah,
against
yeah.
the Reds, did you want to go all the way? Did you want to do the complete game?
Obviously you always want to pitch the whole game, but honest, I was gassed.
Yeah, okay.
After that, I kind of had like a little adrenaline dump after the seventh, I think, and I don't know where my, I don't know where my pitch count is.
I was
just
there.
assume
I was there on
as
the
I'm getting
Wednesday
in the
game. I think you're
seventh.
in the 80s, like around the 8th.
Yeah.
So you were up
Yeah,
there.
so I
Yeah.
think even in the seventh, I don't know, I don't know if I'm at 90 or what. I'm just going, until
Yeah.
they tell me I'm done. And so they Snide asked if I was good for the eighth. I said, yeah, let's rock and roll. So then I just assumed, okay, I'm probably close to 100 pitches or whatever. I'm just gonna empty the tank here and then if they need me, even if they ask me again, then all right, give it what I got for the ninth.
It's like that scene out of Old School. Will Ferrell's doing that competition. He's like, I just blanked out. What happened?
Yeah,
What
that's
just
me.
happened?
That's what I do out there. Yeah.
I saw you. You mentioned. I think you called Shane McClanahan a psycho in the best of ways the other day. And coming off of, he obviously pitched great last night. Went to the finished the sixth. Excuse me. What's it been like? Kind of seeing him. You're obviously kind of being able to see him obviously back on the field after, almost 3 full calendar years away from Major League Baseball. What's that experience been like, just kind of witnessing that and being teammates with him as he's making this kind of journey back to being, obviously a dominant
Elite.
lefty?
Yeah. He's it's impressive, man. It's so hard to miss one season and then get back in the swing of things, and be sharp. And he missed 2 seasons, 2 and change, right? So, and to come back and to look as sharp as he did, I know in the first few, not the results he wanted, but he still getting swings and misses. The velocity was there, the shapes were there. He is an ultimate competitor. That dude wants to win at everything he does, on the field, on the course, fishing. He's an ultimate competitor, and that stuff's contagious. And so I learned that. I hadn't seen him pitched yet. First time I got with him was on the course, and I was like, this guy only wants to win at whatever he does. So I got to step my game up. And that stuff's contagious. And we have a bunch of guys like that. And I think that feeds off of, how we play and how we go about our business. With Shane, it's been really fun to watch, man. Each outing he gets, better and better. He gets a little bit crispier, and it's gonna be a lot of fun baseball ahead of us, watching him take the mound every 5 or 6 days. And so to be able to do that, man, it's so freaking hard. It's so hard to miss that amount of time and to come back and look as good as he did. And he's such an ultimate competitor again, that the first few starts didn't go the way he wanted, man, and he kept working his ass off. And we're starting to catch a glimpse of that elite Shane McClanahan.
Yeah. Last question for me. Okay, so you have a guy on your team, Junior Caminero, who's got elite power. I think it seemed like he just kind of golfed one about 430 yesterday. And then you got Chandler, who's got elite speed. If you were a position player, all right, you're in the lineup, are you wanting the speed or are you wanting the power? What would you rather have? You want to hit dingers, or you want to fly by everybody?
Yeah, chicks dig the long ball, right? Yeah. So you want power is always better. But I mean, kudos to Chandler, man. He knows who he is, and he takes every at bat with pride. And you're talking about two different games that can help us win. So in so many ways, and the way that they're changing the rules and implementing new rules in the game, we're starting to see that come back around. It's more of a cycle now, and you're starting to see more contact guys, more speed guys, and I think we got one of the best, if not the best guys in the game to do that on one side, and then we got a guy that the ball absolutely jumps off his bat. So we got a pretty dangerous lineup.
Yeah.
Nick, have you talked to Pepio? How's he doing? Like, how I know obviously the news yesterday
Yeah,
he's
it's
going
a
to be out for
bummer.
the rest of the season.
Yeah.
How's he doing? Have you
that's
talked to
tough,
him?
man. That's always, yeah, he's in good spirits. Obviously, not, he's obviously bummed out about it, but he's handling it pretty well. And he's around. He's here today, and he's the one that's he's organized the whole Lightning game for us. So
That's awesome.
he's still obviously a part of this team and a part of the clubhouse vibes. And he's another awesome teammate. He was the first guy to kind of make me feel comfortable when I first joined the Rays, and his wife reached out to my wife, and they're an awesome couple.
Awesome. Well, Nick, we'll get you out of here on this one last thing. A message for the Rays fans going forward for the rest of the season. What you got?
Dude, I've been loving the vibes here at the Trop, man. Keep it going. We feel the support. We know that you guys have been through hell, and didn't have us last season, and we feel the love, and we've definitely noticed a change in the atmosphere here, and how much fun games have been.
Awesome.
So
Well, Nick, thanks
thank
for
you.
coming.
Yeah, thank
Thanks
you.
for
Keep it
coming on
going.
the show. Yeah, for myself, Drew, and Nick, guys, we'll see you next time on the Rays Rewind podcast, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. Go to our YouTube page at the Sick Podcast, Rays Rewind, hit the subscribe and notification bell when new episodes drop, and go to our Instagram page at Rays Rewind. For myself and Drew and Nick, go Rays. We'll see you next time.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind with El Bushman and Drew on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.